Are you guys super excited? I hope you are. I am excited to kick off day 2 with finding your travel niche. Some people call it niche, some people call it niche. It doesn't matter what you call it, but we're going to try to find in and hone in on what is your travel niche today. So, going to page 2. The topics that we're going to do are, what is the niche? Why is it important? Niche discovery, how we're going to find and how to niche down. We're going to go in each one of these topics today. First of all, let's talk about what is a niche. It's a specialized segment in this instance for travel, the travel market, for a particular kind of product or service. What does that mean in English, right? You're like, okay, yeah, it sounds good, but what is that? So let's just, for example, you are thinking, I want to do culinary travel, like where the foodies, I want to take people around the world and they're going to be able to experience all types of food. Well, is that Asian cuisine? Is that wine? There's so many different types of services. So think on a large scale, the product is the type of travel, and then what kind of travel specific to that culinary travel would you like? So that's just to give you an example of what that means. So here is a list. This can be overwhelming, right? This is actually one of 2 lists that I have, and I'm going to go in a deeper dive into this later. Please get your pen and paper out. We're going to drill down on how to pick your niche. But this list is essential because it kind of gives us an idea. Don't be overwhelmed by it. Just kind of take a picture if you need to, because we're going to use this. And you might want to use it later on as you discover your own niche. Okay, so we have arts and culture, we have community, identity, interest, we have corporate, cruises, ecotourism, adventure travel, and entertainment. There's so many different ones. And let's say you got excited and you're like, I want to pick one from each one. I really like the culinary. I want to do business travel as well. And maybe I want to do some scuba diving. And then also I want to have the community interest, like for the singles. I want to be able to do it all. Have you ever heard of the term jack of all trades, master of none? Literally, you can be overwhelmed by that because it could be like, well, I have all of these different needs, but you don't really have a niche. You're kind of like all over the map. So you're not a subject matter expert on any one thing. And guess what? When you're wide open and you cast a wide net, you're going to get all types of people. And that's okay. Because I think in the beginning, we all kind of like, I don't know what my niche is. Let me just dive in and figure it out. And I understand that. But there's something that I want to actually show you guys. I have this example of what too much can be. Sometimes too much you can lose everything if you have too much. I got this cup. It's called a Pythagoras cup. I got this in Greece when I was there last month. And inside it has the white portion is a line. And you can fill any liquid up to the line. And so I'm going to give you a demonstration of what that looks like. So here I have water. Oh, I forgot to show you guys. There's a hole at the bottom of this cup. So water is not supposed to come, it's supposed to come out, right? If I pour any substance into a cup, it usually comes out, especially as a hole at the bottom. So I pour in the water and I pour it up to the line. Even though it has a hole at the bottom, it can still hold it because it's sustaining what it can, right? This is just like us. We should be able to take so much. Once we go over the line and we take more than what we need, all the water pours out. You risk losing everything. So I would love it if you guys can think, I don't want to capture all the travel because I risk losing clients. Now, it's actually an upside down theory because you're thinking, well, if I do everything, I'm there for everyone. But if you niche down, you can be there for your specific market. So that's just a visual example. I like visuals. A visual example of why you should niche down. So the next thing is to kind of go also expound on why it's important is when you do a niche, you have a customer base. This way, you are talking to a specific audience. You are talking about a specific product. Let's go back to my example of culinary and wine. Now you get to know all the different wines in the regions. Maybe you're thinking only Italy. Italy is a huge market. Italy is very well known for its different types of wines. Maybe you only do reds. Now you're kind of niching down to a specific audience. You also are able to differentiate your competitors from now you have this crowded market of just all things culinary, but now you can offer specialized experience. You become the SME, subject matter expert, on whatever your niche is. And also, guys, increases revenue. Now that's counterintuitive, right? You're kind of thinking, well, if I don't do everything, then how can I make money? Well, no, when you are a subject matter expert, you build confidence within your market because you're continually talking within your groups, within your community about, let's say, culinary experience regarding wine. Now, let's say if you took it a little bit further, your culinary experience, wine, and on railways. What if you were able to be that niche down to that specific market? Now everyone wants to kind of go to you to go, okay, well, if we're going to do a wine experience on a railway, I've always wanted to do that. What does that look like? They're going to come to your page. So that's another 3 important reasons. I want to share with you a little bit about my journey in the travel industry. I've been around since 2023, but before that, I was an executive assistant for a top telecom company, and I did business travel for executives. I did meetings, I did retreats, I did conferences, and I was used to swimming in that type of lane. But when I got into travel, I've always traveled since my kids were little. And I just thought, oh, everything. I want to do A to Z. So I called it A to Z travel, A to Z legacy travel. And my husband and I's name starts with A, and our son's name starts with Z. So I thought, oh, this will be great. A to Z. I mean, look at this logo. It has the airplane, the ship for cruising, the hotels, do it all, right? Novel idea and very noble thinking, right? That I can do it all. And then I tried it. I was able to have clients that were individual travel, and I didn't like it, guys. I almost gave up on the business because I was like, there is an education component to this. The gap is so wide where they don't understand that sometimes flights get delayed. They don't understand that sometimes you don't get the room that you want. So the education gap was wide for me because I was used to dealing with business travelers who understood this, right? Business travelers that were like, okay, I know the flight got canceled or it's delayed, put me on the next one. So I was used to that. So I was like, I don't understand. Maybe I'm not good for this travel thing. Then I decided to do some self-analysis. I'll own it, right? I did some self-analysis and I said, hey, maybe I need to figure out and go back to the lane that I'm used to swimming in. And I decided to rebrand and regroup and only concentrate on business travel. Now, does that mean I do not do any family trips? No, but exclusively when I'm trying to niche down and I'm concentrating my efforts into my craft, I think of business clients. When I network, I do networking with business clients because that is what I was used to doing. That's what I feel confident in. So we're going to go into a little bit of how do you find your niche? It has to start with you. That's really the basis of what I'm saying. So let's go into it, right? As Amy mentioned, do you have your pen and your paper? Are you ready to write some things down? Get your phones out. Take a picture of some of the screens because this is going to be content rich and it's going to be you're going to be able to dive into and find your travel niche. Maybe not on this call, but I do want you and encourage you to take some time to look at it, to slow down, to look at what the slides and say, what do I enjoy? Because that's where you're going to get the best value. Also, it's going to help you feel like, oh, I can do this. You know how they say, if you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your life. That's really what travel can be for you. All right. So we go back to this list that I initially started out with. This is when you can have an opportunity, if you didn't have one before, to take a picture. So this is the arts and culture. You have community and identity interest. You have corporate travel. You have cruises. You have the ecotourism and adventure travel. And you also have entertainment. So here's a couple of ideas. And guys, this is not it. So if you have something that's not on here, absolutely make it your own. The next one is destination specialist. This is page 2. Take a picture of this. You have destination specialists, you have faith-based, you have family travel, luxury travel, focused travel, groups, inclusive and accessibility travel. That's really hot market right now because it's a very niche market in the fact that not a lot of people are specializing in it. So if you have an affinity for that, I would definitely look into it. Lodging and transportation, romance travel. It's all the honeymoons and weddings, and sports and outdoor activity. This is sports travel is number one. When I was looking into niche, I found that sports travel was the number one niche right now. And I don't know if it's because people are getting back into the arenas, being more active after COVID. There's so many different reasons, but I do know that as years go by, the top niche changes depending upon what people are doing most. So that's why you can't go with the market, because if you would be going up and down and traveling everywhere, and if you were going with the market. So do something that means something to you. So now we're going to go into how do you figure out? You got this list, you guys took pictures of it, now what? Well, I would say that we're going to do this worksheet. You could take a picture of this as well. Once again, do this on your own time, your homework. But you have hobbies, destinations, type of travel, and network. Let's pause on this for a little bit. So when you're thinking about hobbies, you think, what are you passionate about? Do you have an in-depth knowledge of anything? That example I gave earlier about wines. Maybe you know wines very well. You're a connoisseur of wines. You belong to a couple of wineries. Then maybe that's something that you enjoy. Once again, it's something, a hobby. It's not work. So you have knowledge about that, something that you're good at. Are you good at scrapbooking? Are you good at, community events? Are you a people person? And what do you do in your free time? This should be easy for you guys to think of because these are personalized experiences. So you write that in the list. So I'm going to go a little ahead, and you're going to have a list that looks like this, right? Hobbies, destination, types of travel, and network. Okay. So then you'd have just you can have lines on it, or you can just keep it blank, but you're going to fill those in with one word. So as you go into hobbies, just one word. What are you passionate about? With in-depth knowledge, just one word. Also for destinations, of the places you have been, what's your favorite? What places have you been, that on your short list that you definitely want to see? If there's somewhere you've never been and you want to go, write that on your list. And then also put the places that you've been. And then what do these destinations have in common? Sometimes it's weather. Oh my goodness, I keep putting these warm tropical destinations. Put that on there. What do they have in common? It's all about food. Put that on there. It brings awareness of what you like. You're almost like, it's like you're discovering yourself, right? So then travel, types of travel. Well, it can be a demographic. It can be selling. Do you want to sell to families? Do you want to sell to groups? Do you want to all be all about music, famous people? What is it that you're into? And then the price tag. Feel free to just put whatever. Like if you want to do luxury travel, put it on there. And even if you don't travel luxury travel, but you want to reach out to those type of clients, put that on the list because you're going to push yourself out of your comfort zone. Your spending habits are not shared with other people, right? Then what type of travel do you enjoy? Is it adventure, all inclusive, groups, solo travel? Put that down on the list in under types of travel. Now we go to network. This is really important, guys. Do not leave this off because this kind of like, who are you going to market to? If you're already in some type of networks or Facebook groups, add those to the list. What type of networks do you belong to? Now, it doesn't matter if you're a new agent or a seasoned agent. I encourage you to make this list because it's also helped me niche down, even though I work with groups. So Alignable, that's a business group that you can join online and it's free. BNI, there's a cost to that, but it's a huge network. Chamber of Commerce locally, PTA, soccer moms. Let's say you don't really have a group that you belong to, but you're very active in your kids' school. That's a group. What type of events have you attended recently? Think about it. Have you been to a couple of events, whether you were invited or you hosted those events? Write those down. What do you have in common, like your hobbies, your friend group? Put those things down. Are you an avid kayaker? Do you do biking every other weekend? Put that down. And what are your family activities? I know a lot of us have families. What do you guys do together? Write those things down because sometimes, like I said before, it's not work when it's something you're already doing. I know there's some of you that on the call that maybe your kids are in cheer and you book the trips for when they do traveling or soccer or football or basketball, whatever it may be that your kids are into or your family's into, write those things down. And then what groups or networks do your close fans and friends and family belong to, right? I think write those down as well. Even if you're not involved, maybe you can speak to those that are involved. I know this is a lot of content, guys, but I'm hoping you're taking pictures, writing things down, and so that you can work on this later. All right. And then I'm hoping that I can send this out to you guys in the homework. I don't know. I'm going to send it and see if I can do a blank one for you guys after the call. So maybe this will help you get your motor running on how to fill this out. Now, for me, I wrote down a couple of things. I like traveling with friends, planning events, social and cultural events. Now, your list can be overwhelming. That's why I encourage you to circle your top 3 hobbies and destinations. We'll deal with the type of travel and the network later. For this exercise, just pick 3 hobbies and your top 3 destinations, okay? So as you can see in my example, take a picture of it so you don't get overwhelmed. You're not picking all of them. You're going to write them all down, kind of like brainstorming session, right? You're going to write them all down and then we're going to niche down, right? So I picked traveling with friends, planning events, social and cultural events as my top 3 for my hobbies. And then for destinations, I picked Mexico, Jamaica, and Greece. So in the next page, I know that I mentioned pick 3, but for this example, I only had room for 2. So we have, for my hobbies, I picked traveling with friends and planning events. You can see that at the top here. That's my circled items that are at the top. And then I have my boxes, destination, types of travel, and my network. So just for this hobby, traveling with friends, I'm going to drill down a little bit. I'm going to say my destinations were Jamaica, Thailand, and Mexico. The type of travel, When I looked at that list, what type of travel? I like hosted group travel. I like I like volcanoes. I like learning about those and historical ruins. So I put that next to the destinations. Now I'm getting somewhere. Wait a minute. I maybe hosted groups in Jamaica. Well, what network can I reach out to? I belong to a group called Black Women Who Love to Travel on Facebook. That maybe I can reach out to them, right? In fact, guys, I'll pause right here. I did that when I was in Greece. And I just posted a picture and said, oh my gosh, who wants to come with me next time? Look at my room in Greece. And I told them where I was in Mykonos, and this is amazing. And I posted not only on my main page in Facebook, but also posted in the group. And I got 8 inquiries about, I want to go. When are you going? Oh my, are you ever going? Like, because I asked who wants to go with me in 2025. I actually asked because I plan on, like, I want to go next year too. And now I have 8 inquiries, and I'm creating a group out of that excitement on Facebook. So it's not as hard as we're probably thinking it is to create a group. So then I put Thailand, volcanoes, Alignable. Maybe I can find like a group on Alignable that wants to do Thailand. So this gets my juices flowing and my mind going. I'm starting to brainstorm on the possibilities of networking for these specific hobbies. Then also the destination Mexico, historical ruins. I belong to a mothers in ministry event. Maybe we can do something there. So I put that. And like I said, this will mix and match. I don't have to be married to these things that I'm putting here. These are just brainstorming opportunities. You might erase and write different things. You might scrap that paper and do something else. But this at least gives you an idea on how to niche down. Also, planning events, right? I was able to put Bali, as you know, I like to plan events. Bali, scuba diving, a scuba club. I belong to a scuba club. I don't really super active there, but what if I got active again and I was able to do a scuba diving travel in Bali? Wouldn't that be cool? Like, I don't even know about that right now, but this helps me go, I'm going to become a subject matter expert in this. So what I want to help you defend against is not thinking, well, I've got to do the travel with friends. I got to do planning events. I got to do Greece, and I got to do Jamaica. That's still a lot. What if you niche down and think, I'm going to do for 2025, I'm going to do one of these things. And if you're like me and your niche is groups, you can create a group out of almost any of these. And for me, I decided I want to do at least 3 to 4 groups a year. And then I add my own travel in there. But I want to host groups, and I want to go with them. So sometimes part of my travel is I go and then I figure out what the landscape is, and then I come back and talk about it, create a group, and go again. So you can do something like that, or you could just do something where you send your clients because you've investigated it and you've gone on this trip. So this is a little bit about how to niche down. And I hope this is helpful to you guys. I hope that you're able to take some notes and able to explore this on your own. I know this might seem like a lot, but once again, if you don't niche down, you risk losing everything. You want to be the subject matter expert for your clients. They deserve it, and you deserve it. You don't really need the stress of being overwhelmed with all different types of travel. The beauty of our industry, if there's so many types of travel. I think another thing I want to help you understand is you might think, well, I'm going to be competitive with everybody else that does wine. The tourism industry is so vast. The amount of the niche list that I gave you guys, that's not even it. There's so much more to it. So go ahead and take a picture of this just for an example so that you can know how to map out yours. And I'm hoping that I can get you blank copies as well, or make your own. It's not really hard to do. Create a little sheet and do the homework, guys. and you owe it to yourselves to be able to pick your travel niche. I'm sure you'll be able to get so much value out of it. Well, that is it for me. And now I'm going to introduce a heavy hitter, another heavy hitter